Alright guys, I'm just out here exploring this mountain road. This is just going to be another quick Wednesday gear review. This is going to be a two-fold, two-in-one, kind of like my last review. But these are a couple of items that I feel like for like vehicle use. But basically there's one of them's kind of a tandem thing, and then there's another one. So no matter the vehicle, I always try to have these in my vehicle. They just got me out of jams. I've actually probably used them more for helping other people than I have myself. The first one is one of these jumper packs. This one's fairly old, it still works. What have we got here? It's 400 start amp, 800 peak. I mean, it's got like USB and technically has like a light and whatnot, but these guys, if you don't have a manual car, obviously if you have a manual transmission car and you're on a hill, you can pop the clutch and jump start it that way, but just a dead battery alone can really make a difference when you're out exploring, ruining it, making a bad day. If you don't have a dual battery setup, this could definitely cause some issues. But it's always just a good thing to have. I've actually, instead of pulling the truck over and jump starting for someone like in a parking lot, I've actually just walked over with this. But yeah, these are really handy. Like I said, this is an older one. They're probably, you can get them a lot smaller now. There's definitely well-known brands. This one was off of Amazon years ago, so I don't even think I could find it anymore. If I can, I would try to link it down below. But they're pretty easy to use, self-explanatory. You charge them with your wall outlet at home. This one does come with a cigarette lighter adapter where you could charge it while you're driving if you're traveling cross country and whatnot. But basically they're just similar to having a second battery system, because you can jump start your starting battery with this. So yeah, just plugs in. I'm not gonna turn it on obviously, but it just plugs in. You clamp negative to negative, positive to positive, hit the switch, hit the start button on this one. Every model's different obviously, and you go in and then start your vehicle. And I believe this one is rated, it's been a while since I've looked it up, but I believe this one is rated up to like a 5.8 or 6 liter gas and like a 4 liter diesel. So guys driving the big heavy duty trucks, you would have to definitely get a bigger one, and there are bigger and better ones. But for the vehicles I've always had, the biggest I had was a 6 liter gas, and it jumped it just fine. Yeah, these are definitely the type of thing where it can completely save your bacon for something simple as just getting your vehicle started. Obviously if you have a bad alternator, then you're gonna have problems, but this could be quite a difference between getting you home or having to camp or stay in your vehicle overnight until you can get help. So this one did come with a pretty nice little hard-sided case, small enough to where you can fit it under most seats. Like I said, this one's a pretty older style one, so there's probably a lot smaller ones. The case is nice. It's stout. It's nice to have, but obviously it is fairly thick. So that's the first item. The second item goes tandem. You can see it right here, obviously. Tire repair kit, puncture kit. I've yet to use this one. I've used ones in the past. When you go out exploring or even on a road trip, these things can be a huge time saver. If you're on the side of the road and you get a flat, or if you're up in the woods and you get a flat, you can obviously change for your spare, but what I like to do is I try to, if I can, use this and save my spare, to where if something really happens, I get a massive cut, massive puncture, you know, I'm backing up to get around a tree stump or something, and something stabs the sidewall, you're not going to be able to patch it with this. These are more for direct punctures or cuts, like a nail, really sharp stone, twig, something like that. This one has all your basic ones you need. It's got the valve core, several valve cores in there, and a core removal tool, so you can do that. Actually, this one I think comes, yeah, with a little razor blade in there as well. But it's got the two awls. You clean the puncture spot, use the paste and the compound, and then you thread the rubber piece through it, shove it in the hole, twist, pull it out, and then you trim it off with the razor blade. So I've yet to use this one, but they all do the exact same thing. I got this one off of Amazon as well, but I think you can honestly find really smaller versions like O'Reilly's, Napa Auto Parts, stuff like that. So that one's that's not that hard to find, but I mean, this is small enough you can tuck it in like a door pocket behind your seat, underneath your seat, in your glove box technically. So either one. But so I feel like that kind of goes in tandem with my next item, is a air compressor. So if you get a flat, you get a puncture, you fix the puncture, well, you have to obviously have something to air up the tire with. And this one is a Viair 400P. It is definitely not the biggest and the nicest, but it's also not the cheap, unknown ones that you can find on Amazon. Viair has a ton of experience in the off-road community. Obviously, this is not an off-road vehicle in the sense that I am rock climbing or doing courses, so I don't need an onboard air system, but this is small enough to where it can go, again, behind the seat, in a toolbox, in the bed. You can put it in the back of the Jeep, anything like that. But this actually will work just like the jump pack does, to where it connects to your battery. So obviously you have to have the vehicle running, but so that is the contingent if you have a dead battery and you can't start it. But if your vehicle runs fine, the battery's fine, you can just turn the vehicle on and this will air up your tire. This obviously can add air to a punctured tire that you just fixed, or if your spare's low, or it can obviously air up a bunch of other items if you're off camping, air mattresses, you know, kayak, stuff like that. This one's a little bit on the nicer side, to where it actually has a built-in gauge and the trigger, so you clamp it on the valve. It's got plenty of air hose that goes into the compressor, into the air gun. This one is set up to where it'll run the air and then stop to a certain point, and you fill it up as you're at the tire, as compared to some of the cheaper models of the Viair ones. You have to turn on, let it run, go over, turn it off, measure it with a tire gauge. You still want to obviously use a tire gauge. I don't know how accurate these stay, especially in storage, but in quick fill up, you know, put it on, quick air up, let go of the trigger, and it would give you a somewhat of a reading where you're close. I think the times I've used it to top off the tires, to air up after off-roading or something like that, it's definitely not the most accurate. It's probably, I think the most I've seen is 10 psi off, so you wouldn't want to use this and say you're good and go on the freeway cross country. You'd still want to have like a tire gauge, but it does give you a quick access point to where when you're airing up the tire, you can see where you're at if you don't want to go over a certain amount. This one is nice. It does have it has rubber feet and this base, so when it does run, it's a lot quieter. It's obviously usually on the ground, but it's a lot quieter because it has the built-in vibration as compared to some of them just sit on the ground. I've had really good luck with the Viair. I had a smaller, older one years ago, and that one did really well. I obviously can't say for any of the unknown brands, and Viair has a huge lineup of really small, cheap. You only want it for like a passenger car, only if it's your commuter. And I mean, they have, like I said, they have onboard air compressors that are built in the tank and all of that. But these are just two. This one's just a small kit. It might not look small, but this one's just a small kit to where I'm able to throw it in the rig, throw it in the trunk, throw it in the toolbox, whatever it is. And between having a way to air up my tires, having a way to fix a flat, as well as a jump box or a jumper pack, obviously anything can go wrong when you're out in the backcountry, when you're on the road. But I feel like these items, if I'm always having them, like I said, maybe once had to jump my vehicle because it was an old battery before I had it replaced, but 9 times out of 10 this has been used for helping other people, actually, and that's just a matter of walking over to the vehicle and using it. But these are just three items. I consider 2 separate items, but 3 items that I feel like are essential in my off-roading gear, off-roading kit. If you guys have any questions, let me know down below, any comments. Let me know what you run, or if you've considered even running any of this stuff. I know a lot of these type of items, people already run them, already have them, so it's no big news or a review. But like I said, some people don't know anything about it or think about it. And you could literally keep this charged, but you could just throw it in your trunk, and that way you have it for that cold winter morning when for some reason your battery doesn't charge all the way and it gives you an issue. So anyway, guys, I'll try to link any of this stuff down below that I can. This one, older item, might not be able to find it, but I might maybe look up something similar just so you have an idea of price point. And I'll try to link these 2 other items as well, or at least something similar on the Viair. I don't know if they make the 400p anymore, but I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and it's done great by me. So anyway, guys, I'm gonna head back. We're gonna call this one a wrap. If you have any questions, leave them down below. And until next time, we'll see you outside. Get out there and explore.